my kitchen flooded the other day because we had a lot of rain. It's hard to believe it could rain, but now because the sky's blue. But as we know, when vapour builds up on land, it rises and condenses to form clouds. And after a period, those clouds will erupt and break, and the water vapour will be released as rain. And they're very torrential, some of the storms, aren't they, in this country? Because it's so hot, so one extreme to the other. Not funny, just building it up, just getting going with that idea now of rain. It's just true. It's true, isn't it? That. And then it rained, and the overflow pipe was blocked at the bottom. I live on the second floor, so the overflow pipe was blocked, which meant that all the water after about 10 minutes of torrential downpour, all the water started to gush into my kitchen, and it flooded the kitchen, and it flooded and fucked up all of the parquet flooring in the house, and was very, very, very near to my computer, which was on the floor, and the piano. So I called this Fontanero bloke a plumber. The plumber came and he said, what I'll do is I'll stick a pipe in that overflow pipe, and then I'll seal it, and then that pipe can just stick it out the window, or at least through a vent underneath the window. So that's what he did. He stuck it out the window, this pipe. So I let him carry on. We're in here about an hour, just banging and doing all sorts of stuff, banging with his hammer and twisting and cutting. I came back and there was this huge pipe stuck out of the window, and so I looked out the window, and it was a pipe, but it was a smoking pipe, like for a giant, a huge pipe with like the cup on the end of the pipe, as it were. Don't know the terminology because I don't smoke a pipe. It was just a huge pipe sticking out the window, brown, well, made of wood, in fact, actually made of wood. And he said, sorry for the noise, but I was just like preparing this pipe, for you to take the water out. I said, well, have you done all that now? He said, no, these are they're already prefabricated, back up in the shop. We just come out and install these pipes. I said, but that's a smoking pipe for a giant. He said, yeah, but it's a nice feature because that'll fill up with water, and then that water will gently just trickle over the side of the end of the pipe. It might be the sort of feature you'd get in a pond. I said, but this is my flat, it's not a fucking pond. He said, don't start. He said, all this was in Spanish, of course, because I don't, he didn't understand English. So he said to me, don't start getting rude and aggressive. I'm doing you a favour. I'm doing you a job. I said, I said, don't worry, I'll pay you. I just think it's a bit strange. So anyway, I buggered off. And so what I did was, because I had this pipe sticking out the window, it looked like an eyesore. So I decided, I made a mouth, a giant mouth, just over the window. Painted mouth over the window, painted over the glass as well, to go around this pipe. And then I thought that I wasn't happy with it. I wasn't happy with just a mouth and a pipe. It just looked unfinished. When you do something, it looks unfinished. So, or when you draw a picture at school, you get bored, don't you? And then you go back to the next day and you can finish it off if you're an artist. And I thought, well, I bet I'll put a bushy moustache on top of that mouth. So I went and got loads of twigs and stuck them around the window. These twigs were like a moustache, and it were like a moustache, like a Stalin moustache, a really big bushy moustache, because men that smoke them pipes like to have really big bushy moustaches, don't they? And then I looked at it and said, not happy with it. But in the end, I drew an entire face and the body. But because I'm on the second floor, the giant figure it was, had to be crouching. Otherwise it just wouldn't have looked in scale. So I had to have a big figure crouching. Took up all the side of the building. Must have taken me about 3 months to paint. I got people in. I got some people in to help me paint. Just well, that's what Michelangelo did, didn't it? Sorry, I do apologise. Going into Spanish. Michelangelo did that, didn't he? Employed apprentices to do the little bits. He did the main bits. He couldn't have done all that, could he? In the Sistine Chapel. cysteine because it's the after the 6th hour, isn't it? The 6th hour is quite important in monastic life, as I think, for prayers. And cyst, I presume cyst comes from the word sexta, which means 6. It doesn't mean a TV channel, it does now. It doesn't mean cyst either, like something you might get on your bottom or on your knob end that needs cutting and draining. Definitely wasn't after sisters, like lots of sisters, like meaning nuns that went in. No, not at all. So I got these people to help me, and they did help me. And now when you look back, it looks really nice. It's just this guy squatting, and the idea that I've got is just this guy like squatting to light his pipe in the wind. Because when it's windy, you sometimes squat down, don't you? Because it's not as windy on floor level to light a pipe. You just squat down and shield the pipe with like the cusp of your hand, which his hand was doing. Now, because the pipe was like sticking out of the window, the hand that was cusping the pipe had to be physically coming out as well, like a relief, as it were. The rest was just two-dimensional, and it was painted. So this hand, I just got like like fridge box. I just got like polystyrene out of that, and just made like had a big hand with it, and like painted it pink and put fingernails on it. But it looks really nice now, and you got to see it from afar, of course, to appreciate it. So I should really knock down the trees in front, because you can't really see it. But I mean, it just looks great.